I can never fail, I can never lose. That's the only life I know.
So in the next 30 minutes, we'll be speaking on a very important topic that Morinike just started. She just started the ship, which is building a resilient mindset. Why is it very important that we speak to this? Or why is it important that we actually feature in all this? Because the world is turning topsy-turvy these days, and there are many people that are committing suicide because they cannot sail through it. So it's very important that we build a resilience mindset. And to do this for us, and let me tell you why the person that is coming up is in charge, or is in charge and is able to do this topic, which says building a resilience mindset. I've met her personally, and she's a woman of many talents, many extraordinary talents. And she's been through a lot in terms of her corporate life and her entrepreneurial life. So indeed, she's fitting to talk about this topic. She's a certified IFC corporate governance trainer. She's a certified financial analyst and a trained strategist, an internationally certified etiquette trainer from the British School of Etiquette. Please clap. Charlton School of Protocol. She holds a master's in finance, a diploma in events hospitality from Cape Town University. And having worked as a corporate strategist for over 15 years in FMCGs and telco industry, Josephine, that's her name. She's Mrs. Josephine Hatton Mills. She runs a full-fledged event solutions business. Started a cat flower farm. What did I tell you? Aside being a financial guru, somebody who's a strategist, someone who is an internationally trained, she's a landscape architect as well. Can I hear that wow again? Wow! Wow! Josephine has immense experience in diverse worlds of structured corporate corridors and the hassles of small to medium scale private sector. She's also armed with board level experience. Professional and entrepreneurial journey. She's well versed in using corporate best practices to elevate how SMEs run their businesses efficiently and profitably. The word is efficiently and profitably. Josephine is passionate about excellence. That's her mission, is to actively ignite change in her approach to gracious personal and professional living. On the flip side, Josephine Hatton Mills enjoys her private life with her family. She loves her garden. See, when you go to Josephine's home, she'll tell you that she can actually see when the flower is crying, or this particular plant has a problem, or she actually speaks to her plants. And she finds guidance from her relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. I am excited, I am elated, I am honored, I am humble to welcome Josephine Hatton Mills.
Wow. Sometimes when they are reading these things, then you ask yourself, are they talking about me? Okay, I think the weather has gotten into our system. So let's see those of you who go to Sunday school, those of you who have been to assembly before, and those of you who like to sing hymns. I'll be catching those who are not singing along with me. Will your anchor hold in the storms of life when the clouds unfold their wings of strife? When the strong tides break and the cables strain, will your anchor drift or firm? Stop. Some of you are chewing granules. The rest of you catch them. Please catch them for me. We are going to do it again. In fact, shall we stand and do it? The room is too dull. And this time, I need you to think about the words. Okay, so let's go. Will your anchor hold in the storms of life when the clouds unfold their wings of strife? When the strong tides break and the cables strain, will your anchor drift or firm remain? We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll, fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. Hopefully, after listening to me, you will sing this song differently. Please take your seats. When you come to a program like this and you have to listen to somebody like me, and they tell you she's done this, she's done that, she's done that, it sounds very beautiful. Any can be painful, it can be long, it can be rough. There are a lot of tears in between. Listen, that boyfriend who has broken with you at this point, that ain't no problem. That subjects that you don't understand, that you think that the world has come to an end. There are more problems along life's journey. And this is the time to build the resilience. Morenike almost finished my speech with her speech. But today I just want to share, sometimes it's difficult for people to share the true journey they've been with. We like to keep things to our chest. I don't know whether it's a function of culture or how we were brought up, but we really don't share the things that we go through. When we stand in front of people, we just tell them, I've achieved this, and I've achieved that. But it's time for those following us to have a shorter learning curve. To know that somebody went left and they fell into a ditch. Somebody took this turn and it was difficult for them. As for the problems, they will come. It's not a curse. They will come in different forms, in different shapes, in different sizes. How strong is your anchor? Who knows how the anchor works? Because of this, I had to go and learn ship and technology and all of that. Who knows how the anchor works? So apparently, the anchor is not exactly what holds the ship. Yes, it does hold the ship, but it is reliant on the strength of its chain. And usually, the chain will be 4 to 7 times the weight of the anchor. Doesn't really make sense because you think, how is the chain supposed to be stronger and longer, than the weight of the anchor? So it means that there's something that causes your anchor to remain. What are those things? The things that form your chain. Am I okay with the mic? Can you please hear me? Yes. And the first thing for me is the God factor. As much as the God factor is the rock in which your anchor would go and set itself so it doesn't move, you need to build that relationship with your Lord. If you don't have that relationship, you're not just going to be swayed, but your ship is going to capsize. Because at the end of the day, you will come back to that strength, that joy that the Lord gives you. Morenike spoke about your network. We have friends and we have friends. And we have friends. Who is that person who will call you and say, get out of bed? I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been through. And I look back when I had to come and speak today, and I said that these are the things that have been my chain. So life starts out very well for you. You know, everybody's journey is different. Some start out rough. Some, it's okay, then they rise, then they fall. Mine was beautiful, starts out well from childhood. No issues at all. Get into corporate life, smooth sailing, you rise very quickly, and then the problems start. I had to leave corporate under so many circumstances. Before that, the challenges of not even knowing whether I was valued anymore. Not knowing where I was going to go next. You're used to certain pegs, salaries, all of that. Meanwhile, I had started my entrepreneurial journey anyway. So I said, okay, that's okay. I can fall into the entrepreneurial space because that was doing very well. And then you get into that. And at that time, I had gotten married to somebody who pretty much could afford whatever. And then you lose this business. And then he loses that business. I have a chain sitting here. I'll come to you. And you lose this, and you lose that, and you are asking, what the hell is going on, God? To the point where you have to support the husband. To the point where your business is crumbling. And you are asking God, where are you? Where did I go wrong? And I'm asking, I said, God, I'm a church girl. I didn't live like this. I didn't do this. I've done dawn broadcast. I've done this. I've done that. And you start reminding God, giving him a CV, telling him that I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Where are you? Why are you putting me to shame? It's not an easy thing. There was a day I went, prior to that. So in the entrepreneurial space, I got a nice office, was doing well. And then one day, my landlady says, oh, I want to change the rent. I've put so much into it. I had put so much into it. And then I have to leave within a month. And I thought I was a strong girl. Because here I am. Meanwhile, this is what God is doing. Every time he's bringing me people to counsel. Every time somebody has a problem and you are counseling and you are praying for people and you are encouraging people and they are coming with similar problems or even worse situations, and you see that every time you hold somebody's hand, things get better for them. And yet, yours was going south, downhill, getting worse. There were days I said, my friend, stop it. Don't bring me anybody again because I'm going to tell them what you are doing to me. And so I thought I was strong. There's a difference between resilience and pushing things under the carpet. Pushing things under the carpet means you're sort of covering, you've not dealt with the situation and how it's affecting you. And that's what happened when I went on my morning walk and I didn't know where I was. To date, if you ask me, where did you go? I can't tell you. I walked and walked and walked. I remember at some point, I think I tripped and some of the organizers got me a bench. I sat there. I think I must have slept. Those who know the Spintex Road, somewhere behind Papaya. Trust me, I didn't start there. And that's the only part of it that I remember. And you think you are strong. Eventually, around 11 p.m. with friends, family, parents, everybody is going around. They've been to hospitals, they've been to mortuary, and then somehow my husband and his friend see me walking and pick me up. So what is the difference between resilience and pushing things under the carpet? Because a lot of times we think we are strong. How do we deal with the things that really tear us apart? If you listen to the song, it says, the clouds unfold their wings. When something unfolds, it's like all of a sudden, the problems are just piling on you. Your cables strain. If you look at the mast on a ship, the mast is held by cables. Look at an elastic band. It can be strained. Sometimes you get a tear in the mast. But what will hold you? So for me, aside God, there were people who would call me and say, my friend, get up. Brush your teeth. I'm giving you 5 minutes. They're on the phone. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Get out of bed. Because at this point, all I want to do is to just cover. Do you have that in your friends? It's not enough to go out, have lunch, take pictures and all that. But you need some people who you can call and they'll come and they'll sit on the carpet with you, not say anything, watch you cry, listen to you, or they will call you and say, get out of bed, brush your teeth, get up, get up, get up, get up, and you're on the phone. Don't cut the line. I'm waiting for you, have your bath. Just get out of bed. It's not about giving you money. It's about helping you to go through the process. That thing that is disturbing you, you sat down and analyzed it. Is it a mistake? Is it part of an error that you made? Because why do we say life's lessons? When we make a mistake, there's always a lesson to be learned. Always. The lesson doesn't mean you made a mistake. The lesson means I have analyzed this situation. I have figured out what went wrong, what went right. And I have understood that if I go this way again, I'll be a better person or I'll go downhill again. In your 20s, the problem that you face should be used to develop that resilience. When things come your way, it's not enough to cry about them and tell the whole world. Sit down and deal with it. We are talking about network. Who has ever done an emotional intelligence test here? Have done your emotional intelligence test? Okay. The delegates here, I can't see one hand up. It's all my speakers here. And that says a lot. You should realize that the people who have become speakers have been through things, have done what they need to do to figure themselves out. If you don't know who you are, you can't fix situations. I'll entreat all of you, go online, there are many tests there. Pick the simplest one. Do a good emotional intelligence test, because if you don't understand who you are, what triggers you, whether you even recognize the triggers and how you address those triggers, you can't deal with situations. Because what will trigger me will not trigger you. What will affect me badly will not affect you. So that's the third thing. I've talked about the God factor. I should change it. Thank you. I've spoken about the God factor. I've spoken about the people in your lives who would hold you and hold you well. Trust me, you can't undervalue that. But it's also important. There are times when I don't even feel like complaining again to somebody. You feel like a broken record. And you know, problems can happen and happen and happen and happen and happen and happen. And it can go on. Now, I've been dealing with this for what? 6-7 years. Issues, one after the other. Okay? And sometimes you just feel like, I just don't want to sound like I'm always the one with a problem. There are times when you have to sit and deal with it in the quietness of your heart and in the presence of the Holy Spirit. There are times when you need to retreat and handle the trouble that you're going through, because nobody else can help you become resilient in the situation. Who understands what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense there. You need to deal with it on your own. How do you deal with it? That is the time when you will come back to the Word of God. You will come back and remember, God has done this for me before. He will come through again. I may be in the fire, I may be in the storm, but He will come through again. It's tough. I don't want to talk to anybody, or not that you don't have anybody to talk, but you just don't feel like being the one always crying. That is a good time to build shock absorbers to say, I've done this before, it will come to pass. It will pass. And it always does. He will never put us to shame. And then you remember also that other people are going through difficult situations. One way sometimes I try and encourage myself is to actually listen to what other people are going through. I join NSPPD in the mornings, and sometimes when I listen to the testimonies, I say, I like mine. Yes. Because then you realize that, listen, it's not that deep, as Selassie likes to remind me. It's not that deep. People have issues, people have issues. You think you are dying. Somebody is being buried. And so you wake up and take the next step. It's part of learning to build resilience. You're looking at the world and saying, other people are going through it. How do you not push things under the carpet and think you are strong? You deal with it. You don't say, oh, it's okay, and then you sort of overlook it. That's pushing it under the carpet, because when you do that, it will erupt, and it can erupt violently. Experience brings the resilience. Experience brings the resilience. Another way you can do that is to actually share the lessons that you've learned in previous things you've gone through. Like me standing here, I'll tell you this. So, yesterday I had to do a training. And while I was on my way to the training, I'm called that my dad has to go into surgery. I'm standing here and my dad is in hospital. Yes, but you learn over the years. It's not easy, no. It's not that, oh, I'm just standing here, it's okay. But somehow, with the little that I've gone through, I'm saying it's little. Remember that the people in NSPPD, they have wild problems. You come to realize that it will be fine. It will be fine. And he has given you the grace to tackle things that he knows you can tackle. It doesn't mean you won't cry. Remember, the elastic, it's stretched. The mast gets torn. Look at, have you seen how when a ship is on a stormy whatever, somebody says you won't sway, but you will not be capsized. And so when you think of whatever you are going through now, know that 20s and 30s, there are more problems. Just tell yourself, this is small trouble. That's the first thing. There are more things to come. And so you will use this experience in your 20s and 30s to build capacity. To build capacity. Because the bigger ones are waiting for you. It's not a case, but they are there. It's either they come now or they come later. It could be in a relationship. It could be in a relationship with your partner, your children, your husband, at work. It could be in your career. Sometimes you wonder, where am I? Where am I going? I mean, you can have all the accolades and all the certificates and everything and still feel very lost. Like, what happened to me? I'm not where I want to be. It's even worse. Yesterday I was having a conversation with someone and I was looking at people who sometimes the devil has a way of reminding you and says, look at this person, they are now MD. Look at this person, they are now this. Look at this person, they've now achieved this and that. Hey, where am I? What happened to me? And I have this and I have that. It's not about that. You remember that everybody's journey is totally different. It is not a race at all. Your journey is different. And so be reminded that your journey is different. There's a God factor and he's with you. And you also have to build your roots deeply in his word. You have to connect with those friends, those people who will really anchor you down and encourage you, not tell you things you want to hear or help you with a pity party. Pity parties don't do anything. Sometimes you need to really hear the truth. You may have made a mistake. You may have taken a turn which was not right. You need to hear it. And then you'll be reminded that, look, other people have bigger problems. So what is your chain like? How strong is your chain? What chain have you built? Is it strong enough to anchor you when the storms come? Because they will come. So my simple message to you is, when you listen to somebody's introduction again the next time, know that in between where the commas and the things are, they faced a lot to get to where they are. Nobody becomes that successful. If there's anybody who has become so successful and they tell you they didn't have a problem, there's a big question mark. Nobody you see standing here speaking to us today does not or has not had problems or situations. So we're going to sing it again. And I want you to think about what your chain is. I want you to think about what is tossing you up and down. How strained is your cable? Is your mast tearing? You will not capsize. Okay? So let's sing that again. Will your anchor hold in the storms of life when the clouds unfold their wings of strife? You people don't have problems. Will your anchor drift or firm remain? We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast. Fast into the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. You'll be seeing one of my very strong anchors. I have a number of anchors here, and they've played some serious roles in my life. There's one there, Dedo. She's the sort of person who call me and tell me, get up and brush your teeth. And then you have other anchors, Solace here, who would come to your rescue when you really need some serious help. Yes, it's very, very important. And then Selassie, your MC, she's my personal terrorist. God. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This has been such an emotional moment. I've had tears in my eyes with this song. I have my younger sister here. I'm sure she's also tearing up because there's something behind the song. I won't talk about it now. I'll talk about it during my panel session. Thank you so much, Josephine Hatton-Mills. I have never called her like that before. I usually call her Auntie Josephine. So I'm feeling kind of funny by calling her Josephine Hatton-Mills. Auntie Josephine. Thank you so much. And like Auntie Josephine said, have a relationship with God. Have a relationship with God. Do well, the young ones here. It's not that I'm that old, but the young ones here. Make sure you take a personality test. A personality emotional test. Let me just give you one free one. You can just look up on it on the internet. It's a 16personalitytest.com. You can just look it up right now on the internet. Yes. And then do an emotional intelligence test as well. Because it's very important, like she said, to be self-aware of your strengths and your triggers as well. Yes. And whilst we're enjoying the program, whilst we're enjoying the Grow with Rennie live experience, I see many of you taking pictures. I see many of you, just taking notes. Please tag Grow with Rennie, or you can tag Morenike Molay. I'm giving you 10 seconds to do this tag. Any pictures that you've taken, do tag Morenike Molay or tag Grow with Rennie. Hashtag Grow with Rennie Ghana Experience. Are we doing that? Do I see you on your phones? Do I see you on your phones? And if you're looking at following Josephine Hatton Mills on Instagram, you can follow her at Living with Finesse. Living with Finesse.
Full of the spirit when I step into the place. That's the only way I go. Yes, I know who I am. I can never fail, I can never